This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in Bolton. I'm delighted to be joined by David Price. You made a lot of, you've been on the podcast a lot of times, been on the channel a lot of time, but yeah, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, yeah, good.
A massive night of boxing here. Small hall shows are doing really well at the moment.
Yeah, and rightly so. This is brilliant. I've just walked in, everything about it looks spot on. It looks like no expense spared, really, which is great to see. Well, the thing is with the small hall shows, there's a lot of real quality talent on these that are yet to break into the mainstream. But it's the small margins in boxing. Some people can spend half their careers on these small hall shows, but just don't get that lucky break. But I think now with the social media exposure and everything else, you'll see less of that. I think you'll see a lot more coming through into the bigger shows type of thing. So it's great as always. Without these, there'd be no boxing. We need these.
There is a few making their debuts tonight. How much will they learn from this experience?
Oh, they will learn a hell of a lot, won't they? But the good thing about it is, it's a Saturday night, which is a boxing night. It's a boxing night in the traditional sense of the word. So it's a Saturday night. It's lively in here. It's dark. The lights are bright. It's just like, you know, contradicting myself there, but do you know what I mean? It's quite bright in here, but it's dark type of thing. It's got a real feel. It feels like a boxing show. It's not, you know, it's not in a well lit up sports centre. So they'll learn a lot. You know, you can feel the atmosphere. People are having a pint in here, so the atmosphere is going to be a little bit rowdy because people have had a few ales down them, and you know what that means. But it'll all be well behaved and everything's spot on. Like, so yeah, I'm impressed. Like, it's going to be nice.
How much did you learn from these small shows when you were boxing, for example?
Well, I had them when I was an amateur more than anything, and this is taking me back to when I was an amateur, because it's quite enclosed, and like I said, people are sat around tables having a drink and everything else, and it's very raw. You know, it's very raw feeling to it. I can remember that like it was yesterday, to be honest. But for these tonight, you know, it's their own experience how they're going to take it, and I think they're all going to learn from it, like any fight. But this has got a good little feel to it.
One of the heavyweights making their debut is Ricky Gorman. I just saw him outside. He's absolutely buzzing. He's going to put on a show tonight. How much are you looking forward to seeing him fight tonight? I'm
really looking forward to seeing him fight. He's Paul Smith managed, isn't he? You know, we've got high hopes for him, and it's always good to see a young heavyweight, you know, get dipping the toe in type of thing into the professional game. So I always keep a keen eye on that. The heavyweight division's it's the premier division in the sport, isn't it? It's one that people always going to want to watch, and it'll be no different with Ricky Gorman. Hopefully he'll make a bit of a splash tonight and get his name on some people's lips, and then, you know, get some momentum moving forward.
With these small hall shows, you said 50-50 fights. There's no other than 50-50 fight at the main event. You know, for the European title, you know, Taylor versus Martin Harkin, you know, what a fight that is.
Great fight. It's, you know, Martin Harkin's a real warrior. Liam Taylor's got, you know, well known that he's quality. You know, he's only lost against top lads. It's making for a fantastic fight. It's going to be a nice blend of styles, really, and the fans are going to be in for a treat.
While you're here, obviously doing to talk about a few other things within boxing. Just got the news, well, reports or rumours that Chisora's the likely opponent now for Tyson Fury. Seems the AJ fight seems to fall through. You know, how do you make that fight happen?
Yeah, I could see it coming, to be honest. I mean, Tyson Fury took care of his mandatory obligations against Dillian White, and I think he always said all along he wanted to give Chisora a bit of a retirement fight type of thing, if that's what it'll be. And Derek deserves a shot. You know, it's all right saying Fury's beaten him twice, but it was a different time. They were different animals, especially Chisora. You know, Fury's always had that skill and way about him, but this war Chisora, if you will, he's going to bring more to this fight against Fury than in the last fight, especially because he looked a bit, in the last Fury fight, Chisora looked a bit tired and a little bit a bit bored of the sport, I think, at that point. But now he's got this rejuvenated way about him, and he'll bring the fight to Fury, and I think it'll be entertainment and it'll be exciting, and you know, why not? People are going to watch it no matter what, aren't they? You know, guys, Tyson Fury can't fight Anthony Joshua or your Dillian White, or you know, the fans can't always get exactly what they want, but when it comes round to this fight, you know, fight week, people will buy into it, and rightly so, because it's a good heavyweight fight.
I do have to touch on it. Obviously tonight was meant to be Conor Benn. Obviously Conor failed the drug test. Just get your initial thoughts on that, David.
Oh, it was just devastating, isn't it, for everyone involved? I mean, no less the fans, especially the fans who bought tickets, the undercard fighters, and I just don't know in what world do you manage to fail a drug test at this stage in your career, especially, you know, he's got professionals around him, Conor Benn. It stinks a little bit. Well, it fucking massively stinks to Evan, because it's what he's being copped on. It's what it is. There doesn't look like there can be any way to explain that to me. You know, and people are gonna defend him, and the people around him. If it went down to him, whoever's done it needs, you know, you need dealing with appropriately, because that's cost a lot of people a lot of money, put a lot of people at risk, put Chris Eubank at risk potentially. You know, I've seen someone make the point that he was going to make the weight that he hadn't been for since he was about 18 years old or something, and could have potentially been put in the ring with someone who's allegedly been using performance-enhancing drugs. So yeah, it's shit really, isn't it? Because you know,
we wanted to see the fight.
We wanted to see the fight, and it brings boxing's name in through the mud again a little bit with the drug testing thing. But yeah, it's I'm so naive when it comes to drugs in boxing. For me especially, you wouldn't think that, because I'd lost to a couple of drug sheets. But I'm still of the thinking, who would risk the career to get the edge like that? And it happens, you know. Conor Benn's gonna plead his innocence.
Reports are saying if he is found guilty, he could get up to 4-year ban. Is that a right amount of time? What is the length? What is the right amount of time?
I don't know. You've got to have a zero tolerance approach, haven't you, with things like that? Whereas you get caught on a performance-enhancing drug, especially like anabolic steroids. From what I'm reading about this stuff, it is used in bodybuilding when people come off steroids to get their own testosterone going again. So when you read that, you're like, wow, what the fuck? But other people have failed drug tests, and they're back in the sport. Big names, you know.
But he'll be 30. If it is 4 years, he'll be 30 years of age.
Yeah, he'll be 30. But if he gets a 4-year ban, he'll just fuck off to America and fight. That's the thing with boxing and drug tests, because there's not really one governing body who can deal with it and just say, right, you're banned, that's it. There's so many different ways to find your way into a boxing ring in this sport. He'll only just not fight in Britain, but obviously this is where his bread's buttered, and this is where he's known, and this is where he wants to fight. And it's a shame, like, because he's a cracking kid, Conor Benn. He comes across as a boss lad and everything else, but someone somewhere has fucked that up massively, and if it's him, then it's on his head, and if it's someone else, it still should be on his head, because he's what, 26? You know, he's not stupid. Doesn't seem stupid. He should know what's going on in his body and what's going on around him. So unless something freakish has happened with the samples, then you know, they just got to take responsibility and own it, type of thing.
I think most of us are just upset because we're all fans of Conor Benn. We all love the way he fights. I think that's why we're so surprised. But how do you think it was handled, though? Obviously, the Daily Mail leaked the story. I think it was on Wednesday, and you know, again, there's arguments to say, and I know Eddie Hearn's cleared some of this up, but there's an argument to say without that coming out, then it would have gone ahead and no one would have known. Well,
it looked like it was going to go ahead, didn't it? Yeah, so obviously the promoters involved will have known about it, and they've obviously been given some type of explanation and gone, like, well, look, this can go ahead, Chris Eubank probably knew about it and was like, well, yeah, I'll do it. You know, I'll accept whatever you're saying's happened. And they just wanted to fight and get the show on and not lose the money, obviously, and want to carry on as it was. And it's been leaked. It's mad, isn't it? Who's leaked it? Why have they leaked it? You know, and how did they know? It's just yeah, there's like a fucking whole web of things going on, but
what needs to happen? What needs to happen now in terms of in terms of the board? Does it need to be reshaped in terms of recognising individual bodies? You know, we need to recognise VADA, for example. What needs to happen now, David?
Yeah, they probably should recognise one drug testing body, and that's that. But like I said, it's UK Anti-Doping covers all sports in this country, including boxing. VADA comes in as a separate entity where they're paid to as like a consultancy to come in for big fights, really. They're the ones who seem to always catch drug cheats, Dom. You very rarely see the UK Anti-Doping catching anyone out. So, and when it does happen, you'd have to go on their website to find out about it. It doesn't really get publicised, and you can appeal. There's got an appeal process and all that, and it can take 2 years for it to get publicised that it even happens. So I think VADA's got more of a zero tolerance way about them. But it's all about that, innit? UK Anti-Doping's free of charge. They just go down to it. It's like a not-for-profit type of thing. So it's all about money at the end of the day. It's a difficult one, and at the same time, for all these, for every one boxer who's using gear, there's probably 500 who aren't. So people might go, well, why should we waste all this money trying to find that needle in a haystack? But it's that important and that dangerous. You could justify doing it anyway. So you could talk all night about it, but we're still having the same conversation now. We've been having 5 years or however long my thing happened with the drug cheats. That was years ago, 6 years ago. I was having the same conversation then, and nothing's changed. And it doesn't, because people aren't really that arsed. They've got their own shit going on, and that's the reality of life. You know, this week's big news is next week's fish and chip paper. It's the chippy paper, isn't it? So
I think
forgotten about.
I think
just carry on as it was, and like Conor Benn will be back in a boxing ring soon, and then we just want to see fights. That's the nature of life.
I think one of the main things, one of the positive things to come out of this was the public was so, as soon as this news come out, I think the majority of the public was so against it. You know, the public came out and showed their support against this fight happening. I think that was really telling.
Well, yeah, but is that why it hasn't happened? Because the public didn't want it. And like I said, the people who said they didn't want it, they just still watched it if it had gone ahead anyway, because it's what
cracking fight.
Yeah. It's just human nature anyway. If you want to watch something, then I want to go, well, yeah, all right, we know about that. No, we're going to watch it anyway. I don't know. It's just I just can't see an end to it. It's just going to carry on as long as boxing's a sport. There'll be things like this happening, and like I said, the next story will be another fighter in however many months. But it was a high-profile one, that's for sure.
Well, again, I can see you looking at the boxing, so I'll let you get on, David. But again, thank you so much for your time, mate.